On behalf of Camunda, we thank the whole IBA group for arranging this event. And again, really nice meeting you guys, everyone. So my name is Tommaso Idonni, and my role is Regional Account Executive for Camunda. And for regional, it covers the whole region of Eastern Europe. And again, clearly there is a lot of Camunda expertise and Camunda know-how that are there in Poland. So again, today my topic will be related to discuss how automation is actually creating a value trap in today's business, and I'm gonna really open also. Please don't hesitate to ask questions. We might answer right at the end. But again, it's just a way to introduce Camunda and introduce Camunda as the process orchestration platform that can actually alleviate a lot of the automation challenges that some other organizations are actually facing today. So a little bit about Camunda. So the number, it's always ramping. So we are now at 600 enterprise customer, but again, Camunda is really seeing an enormous heat of requests based on the fact that from a process orchestration perspective, companies are seeing more and more the need to digitalize a lot of the process and making sure that they can be at the forefront when it comes to digitalization and process orchestration. Camunda has 100,000 orchestrators, that's how we call, in almost 200 countries, and meaning people that are actually expert on the usage of the Camunda platform. There has been 220 plus release updates in since 230 days is I would say 9 months or even less than that. And again, we do have a lot of partners worldwide, and clearly IBA Group is one of the kind of at the top partners that we work with locally, and also the company is currently growing. It's 440 plus Camundi, but again, as an organization, we are growing and we are definitely having a heat of success based on how our customers are seeing value in the usage of Camunda. So we will talk today again about the rise of process orchestration, right? And we will start from a little bit about what's happening in today's world, right? What are the pressure? What are the things that organization needs to adapt in order to be competitive in the market and making sure that they can generate enough revenues to sustain their growth. So the first one is expectation. So customer expectations are changing. The digitalization is making an increased demand of expectation from a customer to say, for instance, in the case of a bank, for when it comes to opening a bank account, the speed, the time by which the document needs to be uploaded, a response needs to be generated. So effectively, the digital interaction is so important that most customers will effectively leave churn after 2 or 3 negative interaction with a company. The other thing is disruption. AI is in the mouth of everyone these days, and again, tech innovation are definitely generating opportunities, but also bringing risks. Meaning, there is a lot of uncertainty of how AI, for instance, can be utilized. There is a lot of use cases out there, but again, there are a lot of opportunity, but also risk in a way that some of the tech innovation can be adopted by the enterprise customers. And lastly, the technical depth, right? So we as an organization, we are onboarding, we see our prospect or customer onboarding more and more technologies, but again, that only drives to an increase of what is the technical depth and how it's going to be more difficult to orchestrate or to see value out of the multiple technology that have been onboarded in an average enterprise organization. So that means that there are going to be more and more point and siloed automation. So if you think about the classic customer journey, there has been introduction recently in the recent years of many type of technology. You think about RPAs technology, you think about low-code technology, you think about technology that were effectively onboarded predominantly to solve one / maybe two use cases, which definitely might have been useful when it was coming to solving that single use case, but was effectively producing more technical debt and more challenges for the IT in order to maintain, upgrade, or harmonize that technology in their IT architecture, IT infrastructure. Meaning that effectively these siloed point solution are difficult to integrate, are difficult to talk one of another. And again, there is a challenge when it comes to the harmonization of a process that might touch more point solution in order to make it efficient, in order to make sure that it satisfies the customer needs and the customer's expectation. So that means effectively that the business and the IT these days are almost talking different languages, right? The business goes on one speed, the IT needs to instead to harmonize the technical depth. And what it comes is that there is a challenge when it comes to making sure that these two parts of the organization, which should be working together, they actually struggle to actually communicate one another. So what's happening here is that when it comes on the value trap, effectively we do see the value of introducing this type of technology that is capped. The time to market is actually reduced, and as well there is very little visibility on what's going on, and very also little visibility on what are the return of investment of this technology that have been introduced. What's effectively the enterprise customer are looking for is to making sure they could increase the value that come from introducing this type of technology, and also maximize the efficiency by which these point solutions are actually talking one another. So when it comes to this conversation, there is a big buzzword that is coming these days that is effectively about process orchestrations, right? So the ability to connect to the point solution, to the system, to the people, to devices, making sure that these can be connected, so you can connect RPA solution, low code, CRM, ITSM. So you basically connect all the way through to making sure that you can scale through the efficiency, you can tame or simplify the complexity in your environment, and you can also provide some formula of alignment between business and IT. And that means that you can also uncap a lot of the value that that was originally forecasted or predicted to achieve by introducing this type of technology within the business. So a little, just one note from Walmart, that with Camunda, they're not just orchestrating processes; they're actually building omni experience for the clients and across the processes that they're orchestrating using Camunda. So what to expect from Camunda, right? So that's clearly one of the main probably curiosity that everyone on this call is actually looking to gather from my presentation. So the first one is, and this is kind of a funny slide, everyone out there says these days, process orchestration, yes, sure, I can do process orchestration, right? But in order to drive and to provide process orchestration these days, there are three main areas that we need to focus on. The first one, as I mentioned earlier, is the alignment of business and IT, using the one that are the standards for process orchestration or BPMN. So the BPMN part, and also the decision modeling and notation part. So effectively making sure that these two areas of the business, which are contributing to the success of the business, are actually aligned and they actually have a common language to work on. The second one is the taming or removing the complexity that comes from some of the most advanced workflow partners. And then we're going to talk about that in a second. And the last one is effectively provide automation at scale with what we have in terms of the name of our engine, which is ZB, which is a cloud-native flexible architecture engine that can scale across the traffic of the workflows that our clients are actually generating. So a bit about Camunda, right? So Camunda is definitely leading when it comes to the strategy, as you can see from the Forrester report. We are now experiencing a huge phase of growth just because some of the things like innovation, vision, flexibility, and transparency of our pricing, how we are actually able to provide end-to-end orchestration without the need of effectively locking our customer into a way of work which doesn't 100% fits their need. Those are all the things that Forrester, in the Forrester report, have highlighted and have positioned us from a stronger strategy perspective. And again, we are experiencing a huge phase of growth, which means that effectively, even from a market capitalization perspective, Camunda, it's growing massively, meaning that circle will grow and grow and grow to make in the future months, quarter, and coming years. A little bit about what we see as an hyperautomation tech stack, right? And again, a lot of our clients they are looking for a way to orchestrate end-to-end, right? And for end-to-end orchestration, meaning pretty much orchestrating all point solution. That means your investment, as we discussed earlier, of RPA technology, investment that could be in artificial intelligence. So Camunda comes already with a connector, for instance, for OpenAI, and also the capabilities because of the flexibility of the platform to connect not just with new technology, but also with legacy system, right? So the flexibility, the capabilities from an Open API perspective, REST API, literally allows Camunda to be super flexible and connect to all the various point solutions by still leveraging a cloud-native architecture engine like ZB that can basically orchestrate start to end. But what do we see here in this slide is that from a workflow perspective, there are four main areas that our customers are looking in order to to start, to create, to perfectionate, to improve, and to make it efficient, a workflow or a business process. So the first one is discover. And as you can see, that aligns with the concept of also process mining. The second one is designing. And again, that comes into the process modeling part. The automation, which is, again, the ability with an engine to drive start to end the process orchestration at scale, so one process. And the last one is the improve, right? Improve means the ability to look at the analytics history of the process and making sure that any organization could perfectionate the workflow, could perfectionate the way they orchestrate their process, to making sure they can even further reduce after adopting the workflows in Camunda, the way and the efficiency or any cost or competitive advantage that they might have by deploying Camunda in their premises. So again, things are process modeling, process orchestration, and process intelligence covered by Camunda, connecting with, as you can see down below, pretty much all their point solution. Again, IDP, microservices, front-end, RPA, low-code, decision automation, and AI, some of which has the Camunda logo in there, meaning that is part of the Camunda platform, and some of which instead has the kind of the partners logo, meaning that we do have technology partnership that allows pretty much to provide the full hyperautomation process orchestration by using Camunda and by connecting with technology that are technology partners of Camunda. So just a fun one here, right? So everyone might recognize the Pac-Man logo in there. And again, that's kind of the ability for Camunda to process data and do the process structure. So from I'll do a little bit step back here, because as a process orchestrator, Camunda definitely has a unique position for what is being seen now as probably the main area of use cases, which are the artificial intelligence, so the AI use cases. So as Camunda platform orchestrate all types of endpoints across an end-to-end process, what's happening is that we have all the information of a process that helps us to better utilize all type of artificial intelligence technology. So when it comes to artificial intelligence, clearly data quality is the key to success. And no data quality, maybe there's going to be a challenge to provide an outcomes that might make sense to basically drive a strategy of organization. So the better the data, clearly the better the result can be. And there is no better data quality than having all the interface data. So that's not just the input, but also the output from the affected endpoint, plus also a fully documented process. So when it comes to BPMN, which stands again for business process modeling and notation. So, and that is a reflection of what I was mentioning earlier of the common language between business IT. So the business coming with a requirement, working with the IT to have this requirement mapped and implemented and run by Camunda in a way which creates a lot of how can I say, collaboration, but also know-how sharing of a business between two critical departments, which are clearly the business and the IT. What's happening here is that this gives for our Camunda customer a major advantage over things like data mining, as well as data lakes, and also when it comes to process mining technology. So as the process context is actually missing here, or not all interfaces, such for instance, human tasks are covered. Again, Camunda in the platform has the ability to run all the process instances that organization needed. You can also add decision table, and you can also add a human task intervention in the workflow. Say, for instance, in the case you're wishing to approve or reject a specific request that might come from your clients, from internal usage, etc. So the combination of the runtime data plus the fully documented process enable the best use of artificial intelligence in the process automation context. I'm just gonna, and again, this is what is the outcome of the kind of the Pac-Man story, where you do have pretty much all embedded and enabled by leveraging Camunda and the Camunda platform. So I just purposely wanted to kind of to finish a little bit earlier, in case there was the need from to read some of the questions being raised, or was any question from the audience, because again, the platform vision of Camunda is very simple. So we want to provide an integrated and flexible. Again, those two words are critical because it's quite hard to find both requirements in the market. Again, if you integrate, then it's a little bit, I would say, framed as a platform, or there's not as much as flexibility as such. So what we want to provide is a universal automation platform, flexible and integrated, that can with embedded intelligence into that. So again, the analytics part of it that allows to perfectionate and optimize the workflows and the process within your environment. So we want to drive adoption to realize value. And what we've seen as a trend from our clients is that there's definitely, we can call it land and expand, but we effectively is the approach of crawl, walk, run, and fly that a lot of our customers sees as they onboard in their process orchestration maturity, but also they see more and more business value by introducing Camunda as a process orchestration platform in their business. And again, we do see the single project start as a way to map the ROI, as a way to start seeding also the expertise on Camunda within the business. That goes to a broader IT initiative that can be run from a department perspective, so vertically, horizontally, but effectively it expands the initial initiative and then leads to a distributed adoption to becomes a strategic scale adoption, meaning that the process orchestration maturity model is come to the top, and that means that the organization is now adopting widely Camunda to drive huge benefit and value from it. So I'm just gonna stop here. Thank everyone for joining today, and I'm gonna open up the floor if there are any questions, because again, it's important to answer to any question live while we do have the opportunity. And again, these are our info for if you want to know more.
Thank you, Tommaso. Really interesting presentation. Let me ask you a couple of questions. And the first one is, any technology, when you adopt the technology, you basically need to understand the return on investment or basic KPIs. Do you help your customers with understanding the return on investment and how users of Camunda can understand the value Camunda brings?
Yes, so no, that's a very good question. So first of all, as an organization, we work very heavily with our partner community. So clearly with you guys and other partners that are part of our critical ecosystem in order to mapping what the ROI is in return of an investment in Camunda, right? So that's definitely super important. What we see a lot is the ability for us to ask the necessary level of question to our clients or future clients to make sure that we could map the ROI or even suggest, if there is a list of potential use cases to start with, which one would be the one that from our previous experience with our clients, or even just from what we might have as well from feedback, for instance, from an industry expert. We are starting also to adding industry vertical expert lead in Camunda, meaning at the moment we do have one for financial services, but we're definitely going to grow as the demand of Camunda grows. But simple answer to that, yes, we do work with our clients because we want to make sure that the value is perceived immediately by the time the investment is even presented to the board. However, as I was mentioned earlier in one of the slides, that there's always the concept of, even from a customer perspective, starting by seeding the value in the organization before they can actually go to next level. We do see also a lot of potential customer that comes to us by having open source expertise. So they actually have a lot of already implemented technology across the board, meaning that they come basically knowing already by making an investment what ROI they might have. It changes case to case, but if we don't get to that point, I think it's hard for an organization these days to make an investment. So either the support comes from their internal know-how because they already know Camunda very well, or it comes from a combination of effort between us and the partners that we work with to making sure that we can map and support their presentation of a business case before they can make a purchase of not just Camunda as a platform, but also Camunda as the services that needs to be for the implementation and deployment.
Thank you. I have one more question. Because as a partner of Camunda, we normally work with big players that have number of processes, I would say more than 20, 30 processes to be orchestrated. But what advice would you give to smaller businesses that are considering automation but fear to potentially fall into some form of a value trap? Well, basically, what, in a simple words, do you think smaller businesses have a chance to use Camunda?
Absolutely. So again, we are, as part of the growth, we are literally learning as we walk. So we clearly initially had a lot of interaction with, again, the enterprise customer, which is effectively are the one that might have the highest level of complexity inside, meaning that it's an easier adoption because there is already a need which has tremendous value in return in case that challenge is solved, right? So, but again, we absolutely want to be also very much present in the mid-market and even in the SMB. We do also are currently, how can I say, experiencing a lot of demand in light of what Camunda has been working on in the last 12 months. So we definitely see a great fit also the technology into the SMB. We just need to position in a way which doesn't necessarily fulfill the immense value of a use case, but actually can alleviate a lot of the day-to-day routine and challenging that this organization might have.
Thank you. So you've mentioned in your presentation the connectors, but can you a little bit more elaborate on the topic of a marketplace for the connectors and why it is designed?
So the connectors are fundamental for the platform to be as efficient as it could be when onboarding to our clients, right? Because one of the probably main two areas of value of Camunda is effectively the abilities of to connect with various systems, right? That could be legacy, RPA, you name it, right? So it's down to the ability to connect and easy to connect. Again, we do also have the SDK capabilities, so the ability to build your own connector in Camunda, but the ability to have something already available for you to test and connect that simplify the speed by which you can generate and onboard value from Camunda is fundamental. And again, the community, the 100K plus process orchestrator expert that there are globally are definitely also supporting a lot the connector areas, the connector availability, right? Because not all the connectors are built by Camunda. Some of the connectors are built by our partner community, even beyond. Some of them are even built by our clients. Again, it's the concept of the community that you take something, you bring something back, right? And that's something that has definitely increased enormously the ability for us to have a marketplace which is now very, very robust. Clearly, as a Camunda, we want to take charge of the main connectors, and I will assume that that's something that it's definitely important. But the marketplace, it's very, very deep in the sense of how many connectors there are. I was basically on a call a couple of weeks ago with one of our solution architects, and then we just basically found out that a connector that we thought didn't exist was actually become available thanks to one of our partners. So again, it's very vibrant, it's very open, it's very, how can I say, and also democratic, because I think there's always the level of feedback on the connector that can be brought in as that this connector really works or that this needs more improvement. But the connector are definitely a key to connecting from a process orchestration journey.
Thank you, Tommaso. We will definitely talk about how we build connectors, how we deploy them on the marketplace. Maybe that's the reason I was asking the question.
I suspect it's so.
Well, but let me ask you some form of a personal question, because I'm a big adopter of an open source, and basically that's the reason I supported the partnership with Camunda. Maybe, can you share the insights and maybe the future plans? Will Camunda still stay an open source and community driven, or you have some other plans?
my easier answer to that is that for Camunda to really drive the process orchestration engine on the future, some of the changes that has been applied was basically part of supporting the growth. Right. Again, we see the community as the main core that helped the platform not only improve, but also receive that type of the level of feedback that today we do have, right? And again, there are a lot of technology out there that has experienced the same path to success by starting with open source or by having open source as a kind of the alternative or parallel type of scenario. I don't really know what the plans are. Again, we are all experiencing what the market is driven to, and then again, there's been a lot of speed by which things have moved at Camunda, which is great. What I believe, though, is that the product itself is very robust, and therefore it's down to the ability of seeing value in an investment that will make a difference between open source or enterprise. However, I guess the point is more down to what our customer sees in the value that on adopting Camunda, and how do they see their affiliation with the Camunda platform for future growth and use case. So I answer your question in the best way that I could.
Thank you. Really appreciate you being very honest in this. Maybe a simple one for you. Where customers should start, because what you've shown on your slide deck, sometimes they crawl, then they start, then they fly at the end. So while they're crawling, where they can start?
So anything that is definitely high value and in high need of digitalization and automation is definitely the right path to start, right? Anything that doesn't, that either replace something that doesn't necessarily work well and has created some of the challenging, or something that doesn't exist yet and therefore is a kind of a new experiment, say for instance, a new launch of a new product. Definitely I will start from, and where you will see high value is when it comes to customer interaction. Anything customer centric, anything that it's reflecting an automation percentage increase will drive a lot of value based on whatever is the internal ROI. That's definitely what we see low hanging fruit, because you are in a position to map the process from day one, right? You can talk with the business, whether you are a partner, whether you do internally, you map the process in Camunda, and then you just basically build the sequence of events from start to end. And then in between, you will try to understand where the data lies, where the IT is, right? What kind of legacy system point solution do we need to integrate in order to make this work? And again, you can always work in a way which is allow you to almost become obsessed by the perfection of that workflow, and therefore be in a position where before you even push the production button, you're already 100% sure that this is going to work, this is fully tested, and it's not going to take a lot of your time, at least to understand the capabilities, the potentiality that Camunda can drive. So I will start from what is the use case that is most compelling at the moment, that has potential capabilities of driving good growth in the business, and that needs to be kind of a new in the way it is managed, right? New, more fresh innovation. That has to be the kind of things. On the opposite, things that are low value, low interest, again, it's not just Camunda, but in general, it will be, I will assume that will be deprioritized when it comes to introducing a process orchestration platform. But you can start from both.
Great. Thank you very much. Really valuable answer. Maybe let me question you from another side, because most of your customers are from over-regulated environments. Banking, insurance, those environments are regulated by the government, and sometimes processes need to be changed because of the government regulation. How difficult it is to introduce change if the process changes?
It's super easy. It's super easy because it's almost like it's almost like if you were a mechanical engineer that you bring your car for service, and then there is one piece, one cog that needs replacement, and that cog it's is immediately visible because again you have modeled your workflows in Camunda, so you already know which part, which part of the engine, or in this case, an engine of the car, might needs replacement with a new part. And that's exactly how we work with Camunda, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do have your workflows map in front of you, and say, for instance, I don't know, the regulation says needs to be instead of 48 hours, 24 hours, right? So you squeeze by half of a day because that's what regulation, blah, 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 blah. You can basically adjust the time by which that part of the process then need to be executed, or it will go back in the original loop because it needs to restart. So the change is super easy. That is why we see a lot of success when it comes to highly regulated industry. You mentioned clearly about financial services, but also telco, pharma. Those clearly are highly regulated. Also, the public sector is definitely highly regulated by themselves. But again, it's a way by which changes can be applied. And one of the things that I saw as a statistic incredible was that the average bank would see a 200 plus changes in regulation that are to be applied in the process on a daily basis. So it's incredible effort from their team to always be compliant, or the risk is to receive high fine from the regulatory bodies in the related regions.
Thank you very much. Let me ask you maybe the final question, because, well, there was Camunda 7, now there is Camunda 8. Any plans for Camunda 9 or 10? Because it's always interesting to ask about the future plans, roadmaps, and see where you guys are going forward.
I'm not aware of anything like that now. What we gonna do by November, we're gonna fully catch up on everything which is in Camunda 7, in Camunda 8, and build beyond that. So that means that literally in a few months, the innovation of Camunda, which is 8 with the new engine, ZB, etc., will fully catch up on everything that has been built previously in Camunda 7, and will go beyond that. So that's where the future lies. I'm not aware of any future Camunda 9, 10, or whatever.
Thank you very much, Tommaso.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me.